Hello, and welcome to Indie Encounter. My name is Sandra Laraine Coleman. The mission of our show is to give independent performers and artists access to as wide an audience as possible, and to give you, our viewers, a window into their art, their artistic process, what makes them tick as human beings, and why they have chosen their particular avenue to connect with the world. All art is about communication and connection. Let's meet today's indie artist, filmmaker, Seabone Jones. Welcome
Thank you.
back. Wearing a different hat this time.
Thank you. Yeah, different hat. Same
Yeah.
hat, but different hat.
Same hat, but different. Right?
Right.
Right. So, filmmaking.
Yes.
We're calling this show Eyes of a Poet because I know for me as a poet, I see things a lot differently than everybody else sees them.
Right.
Talk about Eyes of a Poet as a filmmaker.
Well, most of the stuff that poets write is so visual that it's already in film form, the format. So it's just the way we see things. It's already a short film.
Right.
So I came along and started knowing that the stuff that I was writing had so many theatrical parts in it that it was just so easy to just go ahead and put a camera up in front of it and shoot those little mini scenes and develop the short narrative. The eyes of a poet is different from the normal eyes because they see the entire spectrum of it. It's small to somebody else, but there's so many other things that a poet would see.
The details.
The details.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And so, as a filmmaker, you take what's put on paper and you give it more of a visual.
Give it more of a visual and give it a poetic visual.
So the words become seen or what have you. Like you take whatever you write, and then now people that may not necessarily have access to the poetry, but they have access to the visual.
Right. It's I started off having an idea to be able to get on stage, have someone close their eyes, and do a poem, and then have them go home with that same poem on DVD and see if it was the same. See if what they saw when they closed their eyes is the same way that I shot it and put it together in a short film. So that's really what I try to do. Try to spit out the poem as it is, and then later on turn around and shoot it in a narrative format and just let people see if it's the same vision that they have for it.
And what kind of responses have you got from doing this, from giving the visual to the written?
Surprisingly, the response has been great because poets feel like that's a market that we can corner because we're already writing the script, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in script form.
Right.
You can just give me a poem, and we can shoot that.
Right.
We can shoot it. That's what we do with the majority of our work. It's already a narrative, so it just needs the pictures to go with it. So the response has been great.
Right. That's awesome.
I love it.
I could tell.
Yeah.
I could tell because you're in your element.
Yeah.
And so it makes a lot of sense for you to take your poetry and then put a visual or film, what you're talking about for people to see it and then see if they
Definitely.
It's all over you, man.
Definitely.
It's all
Definitely.
over.
It's the most gratifying right now for me. It's taking me away from like getting on stage as much as I used to, but in the long run, I think this is, what I want to be doing. I don't want to be like 75, 80 and still on stage, trying to get out my little poem / hip hop stuff. So I figure I want to still have a way of putting it out in a poetic form. So this is the best avenue for me.
But it's always good to branch out too. I mean, you don't
Yeah,
just have to
definitely.
be one-dimensional as a poet or even as a filmmaker or anything you do. You don't have to be one-dimensional like I'm just making films,
Right.
About these subjects or that. You can do so much
Exactly.
with it.
I do videos as well. Like one of the ones I brought in today is a video. Even the videos that I do, I still incorporate short story, like storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
So even the videos, they'll have the intro will be more theatric than, you know, the body of it, which is the music and the dancing. But it still has the same underlying tone and theme for you know, the film, the theatrics of it.
All right. So speaking of the video that you brought today, why don't we just go ahead
Okay.
and check out that clip?
It's a YG Soprano. It's called High Definition, and he's from Who Bangin', which is Mac 10's label. So check it out.
Okay. Let's check out the video.
So turn burnt down, it's never nothing. Whoever won't beef, I'm making beef jerky. You are not worthy. Send her like a text message. You are just a guy and I'm the main attraction. Hey, look, big glamour, big swipe. On my face, more money than in your pocket. I am not a jerk. I'm an 80s baby. We in HD and not the HD on. Yes, I'm on. Check my post. I'm dead fresh. Nope. I am flying. Look up in the sky, it's the YG. Idolize me, I'm still grinding. Kinda like an icy that just don't melt. If trapping was boxing, I have me a belt. Young ghetto star, I stay in my high def. I put my looks on so I can see my wide jizzle. Do I like D-Lo? We don't give Skeezer, you already know though. West Guard Loco, pen like I'm supposed to, and money green and all blue. 100 piece OT, bragging over Pro Tools. This is what a thug do. I like to keep it low, low. A lot of people know me, all in the club and Armani. Exchange lenses, blowing kisses from VIP. I'm in high definition.
You can't see my pupils.
I'm high as a pigeon.
I'm fly like I flew in. Yeah. I'm in high definition. I'm in high definition. I'm feeling good. I'm looking good. What time is it? Who cares? Yeah. I'm in high definition. I'm in high definition.
High definition. Hoes are taking pictures. Snitches get stitches. Big blowing, sipping. Frames tinted. Spend half a rack on them. Kush Depot. Feeling like I'm super jizzle. No cape, no cap, just safer. Get money green, DV bout straight paper. Why? Stacking up the root of all evil. Jizzle. Think I don't got the Quattro Cinco. Bang. I ain't tripping on the damn thing. I'm in my own little world in these fly shades. Yeah, it's pitch black and I'm still stunning. You can't tell me nothing, I'm a young gunner. Ha! HD, I'm in 1080p. Fridge connections got my eyes.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So how long does it take to actually film something like that?
We shot that in 2 days. That's because of 2 different locations and just a small crew. So we shot it in 2 days.
Mm-hmm. So when you have like a smaller crew, you don't get to do as much filming as you would like, or?
Well, we had more equipment than enough crew to move it on like within 1 day. So we just did it 2 different days.
Okay.
Like on a Saturday and a Sunday, and then maybe by Tuesday, Wednesday, we was done with the edit. So.
Was all the filming done at night? Because it looked like it was nighttime in the.
Yeah, one of the locations is inside, and well, both locations are inside. So, but we shot one inside during the day, and then one the other night was outside.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So it looked like they were having a lot of fun.
Yeah, we made it look like that. You can do that with knowledge from film school and stuff like that. You know how to work with a small
Right.
crowd, make it look like it's a lot of people.
It did look like it was a party going on,
Right.
and it was just like, yeah, it's a party over here. All the homies.
A lot of quick camera cuts make that happen.
Oh, okay. See, look, the lingo and everything. I'm like, I don't know what you talking about, but it sounds good.
Sort of like what you got going on here.
Right.
Right.
So, film school, what made you decide to go? Was it the poems that you were doing that made you decide film school?
Well, before like writing and all that, I was also involved in public access world, doing like behind the camera stuff, and wanting to check out the equipment, so having to come to the public access community and go through the weekend class. So I also did a 30-minute show, and I started bicycling from here to Oakland and getting pretty good response from it. So it's always been a part of me.
Right.
But after being in the poetry community so long, and many of the wonderful poets becoming my peers and my good friends, just wanted to do something more than what we were doing. It's like every door that comes for us, we have to knock it down.
Right.
So I wanted to, just go back and get updated with the knowledge of the film, terminology and new cameras and new ways of editing, new tricks. So I just wanted to go back and update myself, and I ended up saying if I'm gonna be, in it, I may as well like take advantage of it. And each project that I do, I'm gonna incorporate spoken word or poetry and make it, make that my niche. So that's what I did throughout my entire film, my college career. Every project they gave me, I got somebody who I already knew who was a poet, and we shot something.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it's awesome the way you take your love of poetry and your friends from the community and incorporate them into your work.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that is so beautiful.
Yeah, they made C-Bone whoever I am right now. They made it that way. So
wow.
I got to go back, and any step I take forward that's productive, I got to go back and get somebody and bring them with me. Like,
right.
This is what's out there. We can do this.
Exactly, and that's the way I feel. Like with this show, giving the people that help make Sandra Laraine Coleman an opportunity.
Right.
I have this great opportunity to be the hostess, but it doesn't mean anything if I don't have any guests.
Exactly.
And I want my friends and people I know and that I have a relationship with to be able to benefit from what I'm doing. So I totally understand that.
This is a good thing you're doing. A lot of the stuff that I learned from being in film school is that the decision makers in Hollywood, they don't really understand like the backstory to being a poet. All they know is that we get on stage and we deliver a poem. So when it comes time for them to shoot a movie in Hollywood, they feel like it would only be about that. Right. They don't know that we might not have had enough gas to get there to do the show. Right. We might not have been able to find a babysitter. Right. So we had to be able to tell them that from our own mouths, so that that's why I went back to school. Like if anybody's gonna do it, it's gonna be us.
Right. So. Right, and I feel you on the babysitter because
my
daughter been sitting many a night with me.
Right in the venue with us.
Yes.
Right, I remember.
And now she's grown.
In college.
Yes.
See, that's a film.
I'm gonna call you.
Right. Right.
Oh my gosh, it is so wonderful to see because you've grown so much as an artist, as a poet, as a filmmaker. And what school actually did you attend to?
I went to the Art Institute in Santa Monica, and big shout out to the Art Institute. They're very good. It's hands-on experience, like from day one. It's like they take roll, and then they tell you where to go rent the camera, and you go reserve the camera, and then you're shooting something day one.
Wow!
So just from doing that and just being hands-on, and really what's the good thing about the school is the networking, because when those instructors leave, they go work.
Wow.
So the stuff that they see you doing, they can pull you on and say, like, I like what you're writing, this, can you read some scripts for us and give us your opinion on them? So it's always good with the networking at that school. One of your classmates, her father might be, or mother might be someone in the industry, and you just never know.
Right.
It keeps me busy.
Absolutely. So what kind of, I guess I can call them gigs, have you gotten from being in that environment?
The stuff we get for, like, within our little, I guess you can call it our crew at school, has been like a lot of independent work where we're going and we're trying to keep our ears open and see how long that's going to last, wondering what they're going to be doing next. So the gigs come like maybe 2 weeks at a time, 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, a couple of days here. I might be a grip on a gig, I might be behind the camera, I might be going to get coffee one day. You just never know. So but it's all good. You just keep your feet in it until, something happens, or until whatever you're working on blows up. Yeah,
because I bet you George Lucas and Steven Spielberg and all them guys didn't start out in the director's chair.
Nah.
Nah. They had to start somewhere.
Had to start somewhere, or know somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, because these days you almost, have to. So you have your own production company, and
Something
you've
like that.
had it for a long time.
Yeah.
So what's the name of your production company?
It's Bread and Butter Productions.
And so everything.
It's like bread and butter film, bread and butter entertainment.
It's just bread and butter.
All things bread and butter.
I know. I know. That's right. What made you pick the name Bread and Butter?
Well, when I finished playing professional baseball, my peers who I was in high school with during the time I was playing professional baseball, they went to college to do something similar to this. So when I got back and met up with them, we all sit down and started to embark on a company with 5 of us taking on the entertainment world. And it was called Bread and Butter because one of my good friends, he shouted it out, and we asked him why. He said, bread and butter. None of us are any good without each other. So we was like, okay, bread and butter, there it is. So it's really like based on taking something without a lot of money, but presenting something that looks like you spent a lot of money on it.
A whole lot of money.
So it's like, you know, bread and butter. It's what you do for your bread and butter.
Yeah, the same.
It takes on many names.
Right, the same things. Because when you say that, I think about my mom and how she would make a meal with basically hardly anything, or sometimes we would be eating bread and butter.
But the way you present it,
exactly.
it feel like a steak and potatoes.
All about presentation, you know.
Right.
Definitely. So the young filmmakers coming up behind you, what suggestions would you make to them for?
None, because I need some myself right now. Nah, I would just say, again, just like I said with the portrait thing, do film or do work that you can be proud of, and not to sell yourself short, just to get your foot in the door. Stand firm with what you believe in and get there on your own terms.
So what kind of work does Seabone Jones and Bread and Butter Productions want to attach itself to? What level are you seeking to?
We started off trying to do quality work that we could put Black women in a positive light. From getting up on stage saying that over and over, it became just women, but always with the implications of Black women first in a positive role. So that's a lot of what Bread and Butter tries to do. It's not always the case. It doesn't always involve a woman, but for the most part, we want to try to provide quality roles for people, but for Black women first.
And so speaking of quality roles for Black women, there's another film here, clip that you have called Lost Angels.
Lost Angels.
Yes, and can you just give us just a little bit of background on that?
Lost Angels is a film I did. It's a short film I did about the Virginia Tech shooting. The Virginia Tech shooting, the young man who did the shooting, he was a student of Nikki Giovanni. And Nikki Giovanni went to the board and told them prior to the shooting that she had a student who was writing some poems and doing some crazy things in class, and either he had to get out of the class or she was going to get out of the class. So it ended up being that guy was being taught by the dean, and Nikki Giovanni kept her class. She was in San Francisco during the time of the shooting, but when they called to inform her, she said she already knew who it was. There was no question in her mind who it was. And they asked her if she would do a poem at the commencement celebration, or not just a commencement, to reinstill, you know, the pride into the school, to let them know that they wouldn't be defeated by it.
Right.
So instead of making it only about Virginia Tech, I did it so that it would apply to all people. So.
Okay.
And I went and got Jessica Care Moore, famous poet, to play the part of Nikki Giovanni, and another young guy named James Asdale, who plays the role of just the guy.
Okay, so we're gonna look at that clip right now. Lost Angels.
There is a silence that screams. There's a silence that screams beneath the surface of the invisible walls of our planet when a child's life is interrupted.
Valley College are obviously still affected by all of those killed and wounded in Monday's horrific attacks.
There is no freedom in individualism. We are forever connected. We are the students. Madness is sometimes silent. Madness is sometimes silent. We are the teachers, the mothers, the oracles of information. We are survivors. We're the heroes. The foundation of courage. You can call on us, but you can't have us. We are brilliance, the beauty inside the ugly. We are the students. International, Native, European, Asian, African, American.
Later in the day, we discovered that the body count has risen to 32, and that the shooter was Valley College student Sean Lee. Tomorrow, there'll be a ceremony anchored by Valley College professor and world-renowned speaker Nikki Wright to honor those who passed.
The unstill, the stillborn, the life givers.
Wow. And that's not even the whole thing. That's just
That's
a little
just a
bit.
clip of
Yeah,
it.
that's just a little clip of it. So, how did that make you feel as a filmmaker, as an artist, to be able to capture that incident?
That made me feel good because it didn't look like I did it. It looked like I stepped outside of the C-bone that people know, and I got into something else with that, and that made me feel good.
Wow, because it's definitely a beautiful, enlightening, intellectual body of work. Just, the short time.
Right,
Because it's a short film.
right. It's a short film.
And I could just imagine if you had
The time.
yeah.
That's the thing with the writing. Is being a poet is a gift and a curse with it because you have so many details that you do see, but not always a lot of time to put it in. In film and television, they want you to get into the scene as soon as you can and get out of it as soon as you can.
Right.
And some poets, we're a little long-winded sometimes, and we want to tell a little bit more of the story. So.
Right. We want to give you the complete
Right.
picture.
Right. So it's
You
a
know.
gift and a curse sometimes.
Yeah. Now, have you ever been to say a venue, a poetry venue, slam venue, and wanted to document that type of environment or venue?
Well, the film I'm working on now, it documents many things, slam being one of them. But just on that alone, as an entire body, no. It's just not something that alone that I'm into. But for the entire documentary that I'm working on, it's a part of it. The documentary right now is called Wordplay Live. I took about 12 poets from Los Angeles and I asked each of them the same 10 questions from venue etiquette and how they feel about poets going mainstream, just a lot of different things. And because I had walked the walk with them,
Right.
they felt comfortable giving me the story. So I've just been working on that, chopping it up, editing it real good. So.
Right. So about how long do you think it'll be before that one is ready?
Right now, I shot it behind a green screen, so right now it's in the process of the green screen work getting taken care of. So I anticipate within the next month the film, getting legs, and you start seeing it on, Twitter, Facebook, and
Wow.
seeing it pop up in different film festivals pretty soon.
So I heard you say green screen. That means you filmed it behind
That means there was a green screen behind the talent,
and then are you gonna put something else behind
and
them?
then I have someone who's now doing the graphic work for it.
Oh, okay. So what kind of graphics are we gonna see?
It depends. The poets are speaking about so many different things, and they're telling so many different little 35 to 45-second stories that we're trying to incorporate different things to go along with those stories, so that it doesn't take away from what they're saying,
right.
but still complements it.
So it's gonna be that visual thing happening in the background.
Perhaps.
Classic Simone Jones.
Perhaps.
Well, I want to thank you for wearing two hats, the poet hat and the
Thank you for having both
filmmaker.
of them here.
The filmmaker hat, which is the same hat.
Right.
It has been such a pleasure, and I look so forward to seeing your new projects and being able to come to a venue and hang out and talk and all that good stuff.
Me too. I'll come back when the project is finished.
Yes, definitely. We will definitely have you back.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Thank you.
This has been Indie Encounter. a journey into the world of the independent creators of art and artistic communication. I want to thank today's guest, C-Bone Jones, for sharing his artistic vision with us. If you want to find out more about today's guest, check him out on Facebook at /C-Bone Jones or follow him on Twitter at C-Bone Jones. Check out our website here at PasadenaCommunityNetwork.com and select the Arroyo channel. You may also check out the website 14mark.com, the number 4mark.com for additional contact information. Thanks to our director, Lilia Fernandez-Gaspar, and crew for making this show possible. Thanks to all of you. We hope to see you here again when we embark on another Indie Encounter.